But I think we got Bitcoin's foot in the door for her.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite lines is in that episode. And I'm the one that said it, no ego. But I remember saying, your time is limited. Why are you using a form of money whose supply is not?
Mm.
And that was like,
Yeah.
it blew my mind. I blew my own mind. I might have just confused her, but I blew my own mind.
I got it.
Welcome to Sat Chats Rehash, the Bitcoin podcast where we chatting about sats. We are going over episodes number 35, Jordan, number 36, Allie, and number 37, Megan today. Their major themes, key takeaways, so that you can figure out if you want to go back and listen to any of these. We're also going to clean up our side of the street and talk about any open threads that we left hanging. I'm your host, Stuart Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'm your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, proud multi-coiner and Bitcoin smash buyer. Smash the subscribe button just like I smash buy Bitcoin. If you are one of our first 1,000 subscribers, you'll be automatically entered to win 1 million sats. And once we reach that magic 1,000 subscriber number, we'll be launching a live show Friday mornings, Eastern Standard Time at 10 a.m. So help us get there.
Yeah, let's do it. Number 35, Jordan.
So Jordan, how does Bitcoin enable trust without central authority?
So let's
help me remember Jordan a little
right?
bit.
So go to YouTube. Go to the Sat Chats playlist, boop, and then, yep, head up till you get to number 35. Right here. Can't stop Bitcoin.
God,
so
Jordan, yes.
Jordan was the guy with the AI predictive blockchain thing, Satoshi net. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Jordan was a super smart guy out of like Utah.
Yeah.
And like he had tried to put together almost like it was a prediction. It was proof of prediction, dude.
Yeah.
Proof of prediction.
It was like an AI model that was like blockchain enabled and could predict the future, like through this consensus thing.
It's like if your predictions came true, that was proof of prediction. And then maybe you got, I didn't get it.
Me either.
I didn't get it, but it sounded nuts.
Yeah, it did.
But we had a guy in the comments who was totally hating.
I know.
He was like, this guy's still trying to shill his Satoshi net. Like, bro, give it up already. And I tried to interact with the guy. I was like, hey, what do you mean? Never heard from him again. Right. So anyways, but the theme, how does Bitcoin enable trust without central authority, comes from that whole distributed consensus.
Right.
Jordan gave us those two words in a row.
Yeah, it's
distributed consensus.
Love that.
Right? And we love that.
Yeah. Used it today, actually.
You did use it today. Yeah. So the 3 takeaways for us.
So first one was understanding Bitcoin requires a paradigm shift. Meaning the understanding of Bitcoin requires an internal paradigm shift.
Yeah, you can't understand it from the system. You got to go outside of it. You can't, if you're still trying to understand it in dollar terms, you got to get outside of fiat clown world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So proof of work equals proof of truth. Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And then exploring credit and prediction on chain. So you remember he was talking about like, one of his ideas for Bitcoin was to it was like IOUs. It was like credit.
Yeah. Was he the one that was talking about this like escrow kind of?
Yeah. It was like
gated channels.
It was like you could basically like put an IOU as a transaction to record that you owe somebody a certain amount and then like true up on it later. Jordan's episode was like, he clearly is advanced.
Yeah.
Because for him to understand enough about Bitcoin to say, hey, I could very easily add like credit to Bitcoin. I could very easily add a layer of credit to Bitcoin where I guess it's almost like maybe I don't have the Bitcoin, but I want a line of credit from you. And you put that on the blockchain. And maybe even a scenario where you don't have it either, but you know that you will have it. And so you put an IOU that says, okay, when in the future, when I have Bitcoin, it will automatically be lent to him and he'll put, I don't know, dude.
Or I do have the Bitcoin, but I don't want to spend the actual Bitcoin. I want someone to extend me credit that I can use these credits. And if they don't get paid back, then they can just go in and take my Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's like on-chain collateral almost or something. Like instead of doing like a number 31 Victor going off to whatever that place was, right? Pulse chain or whatever. Like maybe I don't know.
Liquid net or something. Yeah.
Liquid loan, something like that.
Loans,
Yeah. So it was a really, I think for our Satillionaires who are interested in a technical conversation and exploring some of the guts of Bitcoin and what could be like number 33 Jameson is a good episode for you. Number 35 Jordan is a good episode for you. So some inaccuracies or mistakes.
Yeah. So Chappie's clarifying on IOUs and Bitcoin. Jordan speculated about adding IOU style credits natively to Bitcoin's base layer. While imaginative,
oh, come on, Chappie.
This would fundamentally alter the security and monetary model of Bitcoin, which explains why there may be some Bitcoiners out there who have heard Jordan's ideas and have vehemently rejected them. Bitcoin Core's design intentionally avoids such mechanisms to prevent inflation, fraud, and consensus complexity.
Okay.
Right. So the next one, the claim was made that Bitcoin still runs on its first version.
Yeah, I think I was trying to say that,
there are nodes out there that are still on V1.
Yeah, the distributed consensus means that we have to say yes to an upgrade. And we heard today on number 60 Simple Steve show that nobody's upgrading his node, right? That's his to control. And so there are nodes that are running the first version of Bitcoin. But here's what Chappie has to say.
The show noted some nodes still run the first version of Bitcoin. More accurately, some nodes run older, but still compatible versions of Bitcoin Core. Very few, if any, nodes run literal V0.1 anymore.
So let's check what, does Clark Moody track that? He used to. Where it's like the number of versions that are being run.
Top node version.
There you go. All right. Look, 0.21.
Okay, that's still pretty early.
250 nodes or 1.13% of the network is still running 0.21.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14 versions running right now.
Yeah. And it looks like most of them are 25 or above, but and then there's like some insane knots 20250. That's some crazy stuff. So I guess she's right because we're not even seeing 0.1, but 0.21 is still represented. So there's some old versions out there. All right, so we'll leave our open threads with Jordan for in a moment. Now we've got number 36 Allie here. She is the Raleigh real estate agent.
She's one of them.
She's one of them. And I think she helped our producer, Jeremy, and our publicist, MJ, find a home or something like that.
Yeah, she might be working with them,
So the theme for her show, what makes Bitcoin fundamentally different from and potentially superior to the US dollar or real estate as a long-term store of value? So we really worked on Allie to kind of help her see that Bitcoin is superior to real estate. I don't know if we were successful. I think she probably is going to live and die by real estate because that's what she knows.
Yeah.
But I think we got Bitcoin's foot in the door for her. And one of my favorite lines from Sat Chats is in that episode. And I'm the one that said it. No ego. No ego. But I remember saying, your time is limited. Why are you using a form of money whose supply is not?
Mm.
And that was like,
Yeah.
it blew my mind. I blew my own mind.
Yeah.
I might have just confused her, but I blew my own mind.
I got it.
Okay.
I think we made a short out of it. I think it did a little, but I think it did well.
Yeah. But think about that though.
Yeah.
Your time is limited. Your money is not.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I spending my time that's limited working for a money that isn't?
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool. It's not fair.
Yeah.
There's no way to get ahead.
Yeah.
And you have to do like number 59 Brandon said, and like basically just get lucky.
Yes.
And either gamble or find a unicorn. Like, it's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Bitcoin is superior because, as a long-term store of value, because they're not making any more of it. They're making more real estate. They're making more dollars. Like, you're working for something that they can make more of, you know, the limited versus unlimited. So 3 takeaways: Bitcoin's scarcity and rules versus fiat's infinite supply. A perspective shift where we're measuring assets in Bitcoin instead of dollars. I think I was really trying to help Allie look at her homes that she felt was always going up in value and say, no, it's going down 99% is actually what's happening. And Bitcoin as an egalitarian financial escape hatch. So some inaccuracies or mistakes. She says, is AI involved in Bitcoin? We laughed and moved on, but a quick answer like, nope, it's human coded, not AI run would have nailed it. A little coaching moment from Chappie.
It's human coded, not AI run.
Yeah, like just you know, because we should not have glossed over her AI concerns. Many people are concerned about AI the same way people were concerned about steam locomotives reaching 35 miles per hour on a track. The only reason why they were afraid of it is because they were afraid of it and didn't know what they were looking at, had never experienced it, all that stuff. So we got to be real. We got to say, no. Humans made this, and that's part of what makes it so wonderful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll look out for that in future conversations. But so number 37, Megan.
Yeah. So the theme here was, can someone with deep ties to real estate, because she was another agent as well, and a skepticism of Bitcoin, overcome past associations and come to see it as the future of money?
Yeah.
In other words, like, Megan had this history with Bitcoin where her boyfriend and her were using Bitcoin as a means of exchange, as a medium of exchange on the Silk Road, in the dark web, and they were buying drugs with it and they were reselling it. Now she's a real estate agent. And so, you know, can we get her to shed those past associations of Bitcoin being this dirty money used for nefarious purposes, to now seeing it as, wow, this is actually as good, if not better, than the real estate that I'm involved in professionally on a day-to-day basis now. So the 3 key takeaways were: personal associations shape Bitcoin perception. Personal associations shape any perception. I mean, Chappie's just saying, your experience with someone and the association or something, and the associations that you've built up in your past shape your perception of it today and in the future.
I think I would add to that there's like a heightened layer of emotions that ride on top of this, because my past associations with baseball shaped my perception of baseball. I went to a baseball game. It was a fun time. I like baseball. But with finances, there's like security and stability and emotional on top of your perception. So like, not only is she coming at it from, hey, me and my dead ex-husband used to buy drugs with Bitcoin, but also I'm in real estate now. It's a legitimate thing. Is Bitcoin legitimate? If I put some money into Bitcoin and lose it, will I become less secure? Like money has not a lot of people like to talk about money, but there's a lot of emotions that come with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So even though personal associations shape your perception of anything, I feel like working with people on Bitcoin, there's like an extra layer of emotions that go into the perception that might make it a little bit harder to unstick than other topics, you know? So,
next one, Bitcoin's real value lies in its decentralized trust model.
I bet we were spitting some number 35 Jordan distributed consensus to number 37 Megan.
Probably.
Because on this show, we're teaching beginners how to become satillionaires, but more advanced Bitcoiners are teaching us how to become Bitcoiners who can teach our beginners to become satillionaires. So when we learn something on the show, man, we
grasp onto it.
Yeah. Today's show, Simple Steve, dude, all that node business, forget about it. You better believe we're going to do a better job talking about nodes after today.
Oh, for sure.
This one I want to handle right here. Bitcoin can right-size governments. That was huge. And I love that Chappie used the term right-size, by the way. That wasn't even me.
Wow.
So
she knows you, though.
She's writing for me, right?
Yeah.
So what I loved about Megan is that she did go from having a negative she went from having a bad taste in her mouth about Bitcoin, right? Rachel Ray's popcorn, to understanding that it's money no one controls, which makes it good. And then she went to, well, wouldn't that make the government smaller, or not necessarily smaller, but like, wouldn't that right size them? You know,
Yeah.
if they're too small, it would help them get up to the right size. If they're too big, help them get down to the right size. And I was blown away at Megan's ability to understand, digest, and extrapolate into the next layer. Because on this show, we just want you to stack your first sats and keep listening to the show. That's it. Buy $50 this week, listen to the show. Buy $50 next week, listen to the show. Or maybe buy $50 this month, buy $50 next month. We're not really worried right now about helping you satillionaires understand just how much of a breakthrough Bitcoin is. We're just trying to get you started as the Bitcoin Welcome Center. But Megan, she went that next step and was like, well, if governments can't make their own money, then they would have to work for their money, right? It's like, yes. Well, what does that mean? Well, then that means they're going to have to actually provide you value in exchange for your tax. It was amazing. It's amazing. So in the inaccuracies, mistakes area, 2008 Bitcoin ownership and $10,000 in Bitcoin in 2009 equals 10,000 Bitcoin. Chappie's pointing out that Megan was, just doing her best to remember when she got started.
She was like a year off.
And what the value, what the exchange was at the time, since she was there right at the beginning. It's like, was it 2008? Was it 2009? Well, Bitcoin didn't come out until 2009. So it had to be 2009 or later. And what was the price? Well, not sure. But either way, it was super cheap, and they would have had even just the leftover Bitcoin once they had cleaned up their acts would have been enough for them to retire on, I bet.
Totally.
Because like, let's say they bought thousands.
Yeah.
And then had like 300 left. $30 million right there. Something like that. Anyways, would have been nuts. So open conversational threads. Jordan's proof of prediction. Is it, Chappie says, feasible or fantasy?
I don't get it, so I can't weigh in on that one.
I don't get it I don't get it much more than you do.
Yeah.
My understanding is that you have AI and you're using the AI to make predictions. Like, hey, Chappie, I want you to predict let's just make it easy. I want you to predict what you believe the exchange rate of Bitcoin will be in 2035. And maybe your AI says, I think it's going to be 10 million. And you're like, well, think about this, think about that. Maybe the two of you together like arrive at 12 million. And then I guess you put that out onto, the pool of prediction transactions. And if it comes true 10 years from now, somehow you're like, how do you get rewarded for
No
making
idea.
a correct prediction?
No idea.
We don't get it, dude.
Don't get
It would I like to spend more time with Jordan learning exactly how it works? I think so. Because I like AI. I like predictions. But I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't get it. So what about this next one here?
Decentralized credit on Bitcoin. I mean, there's something there. There's definitely an emergence of new financial products and credit opportunities for people to use Bitcoin as collateral that is evolving very quickly right now. So that's an interesting thread. I think it would be interesting to return to at some point.
Yeah. That's one of those things where right now my bandwidth is focused on treating Bitcoin like hard money and getting as much of it as I can. Some of these next stages, I'm comfortable allowing myself to catch up to them at the appropriate time. I don't think I have what it takes to be on the cutting edge of Bitcoin where you're reviewing Bitcoin improvement proposals, and kind of scrying into the future. Like number 33 Jameson. I'm like, this is hot. Let's get as much of it as we can. And all of these options, if they're good, the distributed consensus will bring them to life.
Yeah.
So we also left open this idea of Satoshi Net's long-term vision. So Jordan's proof of prediction AI powered blockchain thing was called Satoshi Net. Jordan's world model, because he talked about he wanted to build a world model. Remember that? He wanted it to have everything. Sentiment analysis, weather, economic data, all of it, right? We didn't really get deep into what the use of that would be, whether it's even possible. I mean, it's not directly tied to Bitcoin, so of course we kind of didn't treat it, but I mean, this guy's trying to build a predictive model of the entire world. It's crazy. All right, how about this one?
All right, will Ali actually do a Bitcoin real estate deal? Will Sat Chats help spark the first fully Bitcoin real estate transaction in Raleigh? Wasn't there some kind of like a did we say we would do something to make that happen, or did we say that we would do something if it does happen?
We challenged our Satillionaires in Raleigh to find us a seller and a buyer.
Oh, okay.
That's what we did.
Yeah, okay.
We said, find us a seller, find us a buyer. Somebody who's willing to sell their home for Bitcoin, somebody who's willing to buy that home for Bitcoin, and then we'll bring Ali in as the real estate agent. And then we had some dudes in the comment. They're like, you wouldn't even need that. You wouldn't even need an agent because it's electronic peer-to-peer cash. Like, do you want to buy this from me? Yes. Okay, here's the amount of money required. Deal's done.
Nah, you need the agent to negotiate. You need the agent to...
There's like some filing of the deed type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but then there's also just like, is some random person who's looking to buy a home like an expert in the market? Like, how are they gonna know? Like, is this overpriced, underpriced? Is it a deal? Is this price exactly right? Am I gonna get hosed if I pay that amount of money for this thing?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of need. Now, that being said, if you just use Chat GPT, and I'm sorry to say this for all the real estate people out there, but it's very easy to just go on ChatGPT and describe what you're looking at and say like, is this good price or not?
Right.
Or don't even tell it the price. Actually, that's what I do. I'm like, here's all the details. How much is this worth? And then it'll spit out a range. And if that range is about the same as whoever you're trying to transact with,
right,
then you're good. Just don't bias the AI and you're good.
But we know Chappie's wrong, because if you say, well, what's this property worth? And she says anything other than nothing, you dumb, get some Bitcoin. It's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The value of this home is nothing, fool.
That's not true.
Man, well, I tell you what, it's not worth nothing. it's only worth its utility value. It's worth the roof, the windows, the doors, the safety, the security, and to an extent, it's worth the location if it gives you access to good schools, grocery stores, nightlife, that kind of stuff. But all this, the premium on top, due to fiat clown world, I reject it. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not going to pay that amount to get the thing, because that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully I'm doing it with, hopefully I've bought Bitcoin and then I'm buying the thing with Bitcoin so that it's cheaper for me.
Yeah.
And I did this math, dude. So I started stacking sats in February or March of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I yeeted my retirement into Bitcoin March of last year. Since then, I'm up 50 to 60%. And it's not even at the all-time highs right now.
Yeah.
I'm still up 50 to 60%. Now that what's 50 to 60% of almost no daggum? Not a lot.
But it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And I did the math, and I'm like, well, yeah, okay. I'm stacking dust over here. I'm just a plebeian. I'm just sweeping it into the, with the broom, that little dust thing.
Yeah.
But the value of my little small stack of sats has gone up 50 to 60%. So I was like, well, Chappie, help me do the math. And she was able to determine that everything in today's world is now, I'm only paying 78% of the price. So it was basically like the dollars you converted to Bitcoin last year have appreciated. If you were to use that Bitcoin to buy something today, then, you're exchanging that back into dollars, right? But like the value of that dollars is such that this 2025 purchase, I'm only paying 78% because I'm using 2024 dollars that I've shielded and protected in Bitcoin, right? So going up 50 to 60% has made the world about 22% cheaper for me, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's all theoretical.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually bought anything with that Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really cool to see that theoretically things are getting cheaper for me, even as they're getting more expensive for everyone else.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a butt ton of Bitcoin and I were doing like Simple Steve, where I just pay off my credit card once a month, then today everything would come at a 22% discount to me, which and over time, as it goes up higher and higher, even more.
Yeah.
So insane.
Yeah.
Satillionaires in Raleigh, if you're listening, we're still looking for a buyer and a seller for number 36 Alley.
Yeah.
Because we want to make that happen.
Yes. Yes.
And I think at the time, Bitcoin was 94,000, and she calculated she would need to sell like a $3 million home to get enough commission to buy one Bitcoin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So help us find that $2 to $5 million home.
All right, next one. So is she going to move part of her portfolio into Bitcoin or into a Bitcoin ETF? Yeah. I have a feeling we'll be talking to her soon, and we may have an update for you on that. But if not, we'll talk in 9 months.
Yeah, she was pretty vigilant about getting her sats from us. So that makes me feel like,
was she?
Yeah.
She was following up.
Yes.
Follow up, circle back.
She's like, where them sats
Hop
at?
on a call.
I was like, we're figuring it out. Relax.
Yeah.
But that makes, I think she values money.
Yeah, she does.
And over time, hopefully she'll see Bitcoin as the greatest money.
Yeah.
And that she'll stack more sats. Maybe Sarah was her financial something or other advisor, manager.
Yeah, she understands the time value of money. And she knows that a dollar today is not worth the same. A dollar today is more valuable than a dollar tomorrow.
Yes.
Right?
And that's why,
in dollar terms. So she's like, collect. Give me the dollar now. Because the longer I wait and the longer you have my dollar, the less value I'm going to receive from you. But that's not the case with Bitcoin. Right?
She knew that her dollars needed to go somewhere better than a savings account. And for her, it was real estate. And what we were trying to say was, hey, you think you're protecting your dollars by getting them into real estate, but real estate is is only so good, especially compared to Bitcoin. Like, yes, it's a safe haven for your dollars, but you're still losing. There is still loss. You still need to do property taxes. You still need to watch out for falling limbs, storms, squatters, defunct renters, bursted pipes. So, you might have a candle. Real estate might be a candle for you that's providing light, but you're still losing an insane amount of energy to heat. We're over here, we're on that LED, bro. Perfect capture of energy. No heat produced, nothing. Like get your dollar into an absolute, it's locked into place. It's going nowhere. Nowhere. Now, if you're number 59 Brandon,
Holy cow.
You're not on that LED.
No,
you're like, who made me get that LED?
Yeah.
Who got me off incandescent bulbs, bro?
Yeah.
Golly, that dude was the man. All right. It's so funny because when you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, sometimes you do go down like many other rabbit holes.
Hard fork into LEDs.
Yeah.
All right.
So last two here for you Satillionaires are from Megan. What are the other two futures for Bitcoin? We described one future where the government gets right-sized. We mentioned there were two others. If you want to know what those two are, go to our short stacks playlist. And there should be a thumbnail that says 3 futures for Bitcoin or something like that. Yeah. Cyber Middle Ages, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Because we cover those 3.
Yeah.
And then what's the full story of her ex-husband's Bitcoin?
I want to know.
That's what I want to know.
I want to know what happened to that guy.
I want to know what happened to her ex-husband.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see if she opens up about that on the next time she comes on the show.
9 months.
So let's see here. Don't forget to subscribe. Million Sats giveaway live show Friday mornings 10 a.m. Road to number 99, Kristen, as well. We are straight.
The beloved.
The beloved. So let's see here. If you want to support us, there's some juju in the show notes. Lightning, come on the show, on-chain Bitcoin. Okay. Remember, Sat Chats Rehash is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. See you tomorrow.